Hey everybody, back again with another card of the day for you, and today it's going to be the Kingpin. So this ought to be an interesting one. Should be fun. This guy happens to be one of my favorite villains across the board. Not just at Marvel, but period. And I tend to most often thank Frank Miller for that, because of the Daredevil run where he revamped him. You know, that made a huge impact for me. So I tend to really like that darker, more sinister style of incarnation for the character. But he's a big guy that a lot of the Marvel heroes like to thump around quite a bit. So seeing him grind somebody to a pulp just is disturbingly impressive for some reason. So and I'm going to go with a little bit of a different suit. I'm going to go with a black shirt under the white jacket with a blue tie. So that's what we're looking at today. So a lot of people don't realize, but this guy isn't just big. He's not fat or overweight. He's actually a mutant. Stan Lee mentioned that once back in the 90s, that he's a mutant that doesn't know he's a mutant. So figure that one out. Of course, I think that was Stan's go-to for anything, is that he wants to say, you know, well, it's a mutant. There you go. Now I don't have to explain it. My little Willie's just big boned. Wilson Fisk. So, yeah. Just see his grandma going for that. Yeah. But, anyway. Sorry, I'm in a weird mood today. I've been blasting it all day long, hammering out the page stuff, hammering out the fun. So, bear with me. Sound like Jonathan Winters there a little bit. I don't know if many of you guys would know him, though. That is, he was a great comedian. I always hated this cane because it was never even cut, no matter how you saw it. The shapes never matched up. And I mean, even when you tried to align it, they wouldn't match up. It was always odd cut. And it was supposed to be this giant miscut diamond that he put on the end of it. But it is what it is. So I just always found that fascinating that he had that cane, and it was more of a scepter kind of a thing. But anyway, this card is going to be difficult today, but that's alright. We'll make it through. I like to put a little bit of a darker shadow right there because on a suit that big and that heavy, it's going to have some shadow to it whether it's white or not. So just because of the weight of the fabric of being that massive, it's going to have a little thicker edge to it. So, and whenever you, like I said, whenever you're drawing this guy, remember he's not fat. He's just big. Hey Kevin, yeah man, rocking out another one. That's become the norm around here. This is card 60 in the series so far. The Kingpin made number 60. Before lunch today, I was shooting a lot of videos, and it was just a little intense and wore my voice out. If it starts to crack on you guys, I apologize. Like I said, I was just working and pushed it a little bit. So here comes the fun part. Whenever you draw this guy, make sure that you curve this, kind of like the Batman cowl kind of thing. Make sure you don't arch it sharp because he doesn't have a very massive eyebrow. He has a very clean and small eyebrow. Heavy brow though. He's got a heavy brow bone and a heavy brow muscle stature, but he doesn't have a very big eyebrow. He keeps it very, very clean and slim and almost petite in a way, like a woman would. It's almost very slick. So just food for thought when you're drawing this guy and knocking him out. You want to make sure that you get that going, because that's a detail that particularly stands out. And he also has a very unique nose as well, because it bulbs right here. It gets wider at the bottom and bulbs out, and then the nostril cuts back really short. So he has that little blunt button nose kind of thing going on. And if you don't do that properly, it looks funky when you map him out. So just be sure and be aware of that. Now he has a full bottom lip, so you want to make sure and arch that out, because it won't look right if you don't. And then he has kind of a knobby chin, but yet there's weight around it because his face is overdeveloped. You know, he's just overdeveloped, period. So be sure and put that in there as well, because it looks funny if you don't. Now I'm going to go up high here on the brow, because he's got, like I said, he's got these horribly massive, bulbous, almost primitive style brow muscles. And we're going to go in here with the little bitty ears and little bitty eyes. It's hard in my style to do it because I've got a wider animated style. So I sketch these in like this. But you have to make sure not to make them too wide because he's got beady little eyes. They're almost creepy. And when you cut them in, they almost look like they don't fit his head at all. But he has funky little eye sockets that get dark around there because the eyelids are drawn up. And instead of sitting out proportionally to his face, he's so massive, they just stick off. It almost makes them to where they naturally look uneven, even though they are, because they wrap around right there across the middle of the ear. You can see the slope. I mean, I'll even cut it in so you guys can see because it's right there, right through the middle of that. So it's lined up. Because there's the bridge of the brow, there's the bulb of the nose, there's the top, bottom of the ear, there's the crown of the ear. So it goes right across there, and you map them out right in the middle, and that's a guideline. I have to tell kids that all the time. Map out your eyes, you know. Even if they look awkward at first, when you fill them out, they will look proportionate to what the rest of the head does. As long as you follow that curve, you're all right. And this is something I did a long time ago. The Daredevil character cracked Kingpin in the head with his billy stick and split his head open. And some people do it, some people don't. I like to put this little line right here because it shows a scar from where he cracked him in the head. And it's always on that side. It leans towards his left. I know it's an awkward thing to do, but it's a detail that really, really sticks out. It makes this character pop when you put in little details like that. Especially when you're trying to make him stand out and be more lifelike. Now I'm going to put in this sideline here for the eye, right here in what I call the crow's nest, where the crow's feet go on a human being. And because he's got a little bit of age to him, I like to put that in there like that. And it also defines out the rest of the jaw just a little. But you got to be careful not to over detail him, because then you'll age him by mistake when you're trying to detail out the weight. So just leave it open and let a colorist come in there and save you. Now I did that on purpose right there. What I'm doing is I'm not drawing in the jawline necessarily to where I'll have all that going on. I'm actually putting in a drop shadow right there because that muscle divots no matter what. And even if he's got jowls, it's still going to go up to that line, and then it'll bulk back out this side because of that right there. I mean, unless he's just like the Blob and just has nothing but stacks and stacks of flesh, which is just gross. But, you know, that character is just gnarly. But, this character is actually, like I said, a mutant. And, he has definition where, I don't want to say it shouldn't be, but he has definition in the oddest places. So, go from that and just feel it out and go for yourself, you know what I mean? You have to figure it out by the pose that you have. So, just keep that in mind. And I'm going to put in a little bit of a eyelid, a heavy eyelid, and a brow there, just a little bit. I'm going to box it off on this side just a little too. Give him that arrogant look that he always has. And notch out this cheek and this nose a little bit so he looks kind of like he's snarling a little bit. Because that's the cool thing about the Kingpin. He always looks like he's snarking. And that's just a weird look for a guy. But a lot of women snark like that, and they do that little that little eye cut thing, which is fine. I mean, it's an expression, but still, Most men don't tend to make that look. It looks a little feminine. So but as any of our comic fans know, the Kingpin is a gorilla dressed in his Sunday best, so not a good idea to go calling this guy anything funky like that, but whatever works. To each their own. And again, you guys are getting to see me do the whole ridge thing. I'm going to black that out because it would not show up. And then to highlight it just a little bit and force the light, I'm going to put a little bit of a ridge right there and make that pop off to where it shows. Then I'm going to put a little crease right here. Show tension on the shirt. And it'll also give us a room for gapping out the color and putting in a little light where it doesn't exist. You know, you have to improvise a little bit in comics. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the 9 here so that I can get this colored out. There we go. So, now you guys got to tell me, are you guys liking these cards? I mean, everybody keeps coming back, I know, but, and I know it's a little different with the videos, but be sure and hit that like button if you come on. I mean, like I said, I'm not asking for them, but the reason I'm pointing it out and saying anything at all for them is because of the fact that I want to make sure you guys are liking the cards. Because you got to let me know which ones you like. You know, I'm getting a lot of views, but I'm not getting the likes to back them up to show which ones are your favorites so I can stay in that genre or that line. And I want to keep bringing you guys the cards that you like, you know. I mean, if you guys like the blind spots and I'm just bringing it in and kicking it out that way, that's fine too. But like I said, if you want to have a say and get noticed, be sure and let me know by liking what you see so that I can follow that path. Because otherwise it's going to continue to be random access drawing here. And we're going to go by whatever I select off. I'm going to make use of that slash right there. The card hung right there, and I'm just going to go ahead and make use of it. I'll erase that other little one there later, but it's a little wider than I expected to do it, but hey, that dark line cut in, so I just used it. I'm going to darken this up and clean this edge. Now I'm going to go in here and draw this rose, which is a pain in the butt. Every artist knows roses are hard to draw, but that's okay. I'm not a whiner, not a complainer. Here you go. We've got a rose. And the irony is that's probably one of the fastest things, one of the fastest roses I've ever drawn. But it's very simplistic, so I'll give it credit there. But as any artist know, you take the win as you get it. Because normally sometimes, normally these things can fight you, and sometimes they get really, really hard. There you go. Now I know I'm making this fabric look a little more sterner than it should be, or stiffer than it should be. But the thing is, I want to make sure that it's going to match up and hold up to the Kingpin. So that's the reason I'm drawing in these lines here and these edges. be getting dirty messages later. It's supposed to be white. So, yeah, I know it's white. I'm not trying to over detail it. Not trying to overwork it. And he has his lapel over here, and he has his very high and awkward, almost up on a normal person's shoulder cut pocket for his kerchief. He's just odd like that. That's one of the things that is so cool about this character, is the fact that he just does everything out of his own style and his own time, and doesn't care about the rest of it. But you see what I mean by the thin eyebrows, right? They're not overkill. And that's very cool to me. I just find that very expressive, because they're so fine. It's easy to express, to emote that like a woman would. Which it's way easier for me as a man to draw women than it is to draw men. And get them to emote strong emotions. But I tend to find most artists that I talk to are actually the opposite. They find it harder to draw they find it harder to draw the opposite sex rather than the same sex. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. I do everything to the beat of my own drum, so I'm guessing, you know, maybe that's just another one of my unique things. Little cork. Now on this side I won't do that, because I don't want it to look like he's got it flipped up disco style. What I will do is I'll come in here and make a couple of little marks and leave it at that, because his head shadows over that collar, because we're looking down on him. So that's, you know, that's part of why. I'm going to cut into that pupil a little more. And that iris. Cut them down. And we've got that eye popping out at you. It's always cool to make a character look at you like, what? So, put a little shadow right here where the fold of the tie is, because this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be blue. Almost a royal blue or a cobalt blue kind of thing. It's going to be a strong, strong color. I'm going to put a couple of folds here, because they never stay straight when you fold them over. They never stay straight. They always get wrinkled right there. And they get wrinkled and creased because of the tension of the wrap, is what I was going to say. So, but I'm going to trim this out. Now that I've decorated the suit, I'm going to put some detail right in here, because this is normally yellow or gold colored, and this is normally a wood color or white. A lot of people do a white on it because they don't like to do the wood texture, but I don't mind. I'll put a little bit on there. And there we have it. Yeah, to answer your question, man, I as far as Kevin goes, he asked about the cards. Yeah, I order custom cards to draw on when I'm going to do events, or if I have a professional set to do for people that follow me and whatnot, and they order commissions or whatever, you know, for projects. Yeah, I do order custom cards for that. I do keep them in stock. But I'm doing this for this series because I started out trying different textures and different techniques for drawing practice. And I discovered that I really like the size of these cards because they're just a standard, you know, 3x5 little index card kind of thing. And I love drawing on them. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. I do draw on them a lot. I do draw on the professional stuff. I have the Bristol style, and you know, the 100-point card, the standard Bristol board, the 128, the 120. I'm sorry, the 120 pound. And I've got a new custom style that I just ordered. That's a Japanese 128 pound, which I haven't cut into yet. I'll have to dig those out of storage and show you guys. I've got them in the storeroom, in the supply closet. I'll have to dig them out and show you guys sometime. But yeah, check those out if you can find them. They're pretty cool. But they are just, they don't budge at all. They're almost a light poster, lighter than, I don't know, a light and cardboard. I mean, they're almost like a backing board style thickness. They're strange, but they're fun to draw on. I'll have to draw a couple of them on there and let you guys check them out. But anyway, yeah, here we are with the Kingpin. I got her finished up today. Let me grab my book and we will see what is up next. Ironically, we're going to do Daredevil tomorrow. So, there you go. We're going to have Daredevil for tomorrow. So, I will see you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you dig it. And leave me questions or comments, and we'll go from there. But until then, talk to you tomorrow.